So my name is Katey Nicosia. I work for the Association for Supportive Childcare in Arizona, and I work as a Quality First coach, where I help um, early childcare centers meet quality standards through coaching with the teachers and the directors, and we work on goals to improve their center. It's Arizona's approach to improving early childhood education. There are assessments and standards that centers have to meet. It has many different benefits, including the coaching. There's smart support for social and emotional needs. There's funding and scholarships that also come with it.
Give me an example of some kind of scenario that you helped coach and it went from this to this and it was better because of your work with Quality First.
So part of Quality First is assessments. And one part of the assessment is a portfolio or child portfolios, where the teachers are using portfolios that show child development. And I have offered trainings on what a portfolio looks like and the importance of a portfolio. And it's exciting to see when you give the teachers this information and they can run with it. And you, at the end of the training, they're like, we're so excited to start doing this, because I think they can feel that it really makes a difference. It gives them a reason to stop doing things and to observe the children, to get to know them better, and to document all of that. And it's also another really great way to connect with families. I try to teach the centers and the directors and the teachers the importance of that connection with families, and instill that, because it is so important, especially right now during COVID, where the parents can't go back to the classroom. There needs to be some sort of lifeline and direct connection. And so any avenue we can find to do that, portfolios is just one of them, especially if they're online. It's just really a great way to do that. I just try to help the teachers understand the necessity of that daily communication with the parents.
So talk about what you did before you started in the job that you're in now.
So I started working in a Montessori center with 2-year-olds back in 2001. And it sort of led from there. I became a lead infant teacher and I worked with a bunch of infants, and that's where it really blossomed, because I was struggling with 5 infants by myself. I did a whole bunch of research on, what is the best way to meet all of these babies' needs. I just became very passionate with it. And then I ended up in a 2-year-old classroom, then preschool classroom, then I worked in the administration at a center. And then I just decided to go back to school and learn more. And then I became a coach. In every part of a teacher's job, I feel like one of the most important aspects is being curious about the child, mostly. It not only the act of being curious conveys so much to the child, like, oh, you care about me, you're interested in me, you want to know more about me, but it builds the relationship, and it helps the adult understand the child, especially if they're having challenging behaviors. Curiosity is, I wonder what's happening. I wonder why he's feeling this way, or he's feeling like he needs to act this way, or she. It really changes the lens of the adult for the child, so that you can be more responsive rather than reactive. But that curiosity really, is almost like thinking like a scientist, collecting data and really showing that you're interested is really the basic of it. And not only about the child, but also in learning, modeling that curiosity and learning is pretty inspiring for children too.
So then I tie that back to the purpose of the portfolio.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so the portfolio is sort of this vessel to help facilitate the curiosity?
For sure. So, for instance, in part of the portfolio is observations or documentations, where the teacher has to literally watch the child to observe learning. Since we don't do tests, we have to see it in action. So it requires the teacher to really watch children, and to do it with a sense of curiosity. So, oh, like, look, you just noticed that he's using his right hand to cut with scissors, or, oh, look, he could turn the paper the correct way to cut the scissors the way he wanted. Those little tiny bits of information that you get from observing really tell a lot, because they're learning constantly, and without observing it, you wouldn't really notice it.
Talk a bit about what role observation and curiosity plays with those infants.
Oh, I think it's huge in infants because their growing is so quick, and it's not necessarily in your face. They're not just suddenly, well, they are suddenly talking, but it, it's part of the relationship is noticing the very tiny things that they're doing, and where they might need assistance or guidance, or let's say like a baby's on their tummy and they're trying to reach for a ball. Observing that and waiting and seeing, like, should I help him get to the ball, or should I let him really work for that ball? And what would he learn by really working for it? And what's he learning right now? Those sort of things in infants is super important, because then the teacher knows what to do next. Oh, I can see he's learning to reach. So how can we help him get to that next step? Those kind of things, it's everything. The observing is how a teacher not only understands children, but plans for the day with the children. So a person who is giving quality care to a child really truly cares about the child, and in doing that and really caring, they're curious, like, not only about the growth, but about who's this individual child. In every single thing they do, what is this child communicating to me about who they are, who they want to be, what they need, and there's just so much communication in their behavior too.
Have you given much thought to equity and diversity within the profession?
So when I think about equity and diversity in early childhood, I feel frustrated. There's a sense of frustration because being within this field, you witness a lot, and you know how much better it could be, and sort of how the quality of care should be for every single child. It should be available for every single child, and affordable for every single child. And the fact that that's currently so hard to come by, all of those things, is frustrating. And it requires a lot of systemic change, policy change that is long overdue, really.
What are your thoughts for the future? What's your vision for the future of the profession and for children?
I think my hopes for the future are that society in general sees the value in early childhood education and the real worth of the teachers who offer this. Not only that, but also when it comes to quality, which makes a huge difference, that quality is provided through the professionals in the classroom. So if we are expecting quality care, we need quality child care teachers. And that comes from a sense of value from these people who deserve not to have to worry about if they're going to be able to have dinner that night. Quality care is relationships with a well balanced and healthy adult who has the capacity to handle the emotions and the challenging behaviors of so many children. We need to uplift these professionals so that they feel like they have the ability to do one of the hardest jobs ever. And that requires a lot of change in terms of seeing them as worthy of a wage that they deserve, of expecting them to be educated and qualified and experienced, and having high standards for them. But that has to first come from society understanding and changing to make that happen. I feel like I'm a champion for early childhood educators. I know how hard it is. I just hope they understand that even though it may be a struggle, and especially right now, that they're making a difference, every single thing they do every day makes a difference, and it's helping children who need them. It really does. And when they provide the quality care, it changes everything about the child through their life. It creates the foundation they need to be a healthy individual.